hello there, Ellen.
Well, hello there, Trevor.
This is fun. This is a little something different.
We are podcasting.
Yeah, it's our own little podcast. Welcome, everybody, to Yard to Table.
I'm Ellen Scherer Crafts.
I'm Trevor Crafts, and this is a podcast that is about food. It's about gardening. It's about community, all in and around the yards of our 11-acre Connecticut homestead called Stonebrook. If you're a seasoned gardener, if you're just coming into it, we like to call it, there's a lot of farm-to-table movements out there. We like to look at this as yard-to-table.
Why is it yard to table? We're literally making things in our yard and bringing it to our kitchen table every day. And whether that's flowers or vegetables, herbs, we're so inspired by the things that we're growing and what we have found that our neighbors are growing in their backyards. Who knew when we moved here how incredible the things that were going on right
all
outside
over
people's back doors?
Yeah, it's almost like a little quiet revolution of
self-sustainability, organic growing.
It's good stuff.
And by the way, also entertaining and community and bringing people together.
That's what we've really learned to love about this place that we're living in, is that there's so many different people that are growing amazing things in their yards and their small farms, and just how much Connecticut agriculture is a very, very local, very personal thing that we've really discovered and really started to fall in love with.
Totally. And I think, we're located in Western Connecticut. We're part of New England.
What are we, 7A?
We are.
Growing,
I think
our
that's
growing
our
area
new,
is 7A.
I think that's our new update.
We're East Coasters originally.
That's right.
Did a little time out in LA, but then came back. The call of the seasons.
Would you say it's coming back to our roots? No pun intended.
Indeed. This isn't going to be a podcast full of puns about vegetables.
They're going to happen.
But they will happen. We're going to dig in. We're going to get right down to the root of it. It's funny. A lot of people, I think, said to us, "Oh gosh, you're moving from California back to the East Coast. Oh, the snow. Oh, the snow." We like snow.
We love it.
We love snow. We love weather. We love seasons. And I think one of the things that
you can't beat a New England fall.
No, you cannot beat a New England fall. And Connecticut falls are gorgeous. And I think that's one of the things that is so interesting about living here in Connecticut is, and on the East Coast again, is that there's a reason to go out every day.
Yes.
Because in LA, it's gorgeous and it's beautiful and the weather's amazing and the beach is there and the beach is always there because it's always the same, and it gets very sort of static in terms of the time and your sense of urgency to go and do something. But here, you've got a growing season. There's a time that you can harvest. There are these moments where
time to plan,
time to plant, time to harvest, time to enjoy. And it's these moments that you have to grab onto, which is, I think, so unique about living here again.
Yes. I mean, and I think what we hadn't really realized is how much we miss that seasonality, that sense of, it's absolutely gorgeous outside. We need to be there. We need to be doing something. And we got this property. We did it with our parents. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but we pulled our family, Trevor's parents, my mom, from 3 different states, and we came together in our family compound.
Now, just for everybody that's listening, I have a question. True or not true, when I said, let's move here, meaning Stonebrook, you said absolutely not.
Yeah, that's true. That's 100% true. Yeah.
Yeah, that is
unequivocally not
She
happening.
said, what do we need 11 acres for?
That's right.
And I said, well, there's a lot of space to grow. And that was, I think, something that we didn't even 100% realize how much we needed.
Yes.
In our lives.
Yes. I mean, listen, this is a lifestyle choice, right? We brought together our parents who are older. We have a daughter. She was
younger.
Yes, she was 5 at the time that we moved. And, this was a decision. We were coming out of COVID. We were still in COVID. We all remember that time. And it was really about what's important Our families were living separately. We didn't have each other to lean on, to support each other, both in hard times and good times. There was a lot of that during COVID. There's a lot of that in life, right? And so it was, let's make a decision that's good for all of us. And we did it. And somehow I got convinced. Somehow we all got convinced. Because once
I'm an incredible salesman.
You are.
I'm an incredible
That
salesman.
is 100% true. Yes. But we have, and we're here, and we all, have our homes on the property, but we're all contribute to this special place that we live. And I think the inspiration that we've gotten from the land literally has just changed sort of the trajectory of our life, which is kind of incredible.
Yeah,
when I think about it.
We went from being very career-driven entertainment people, and now, although that is still a big part of our lives, we're plant nerds now.
Soil nerds.
Soil nerds. That's a good one.
I'm a flower nerd.
Ellen is a huge flower nerd. That is 100% true.
Because, by the way, Trevor, is if you look at something, how do you know it's a piece of artwork or a pattern or anything that I like? What's usually on that?
A flower.
Yes, that's right.
It's a flower.
That's right.
It's probably a red flower.
Usually a red flower. Yeah. In fact, I have to get back to ordering tulips after this. So for next year.
It's always something. Is a plan. But I think that's one of the things when we got here, we came because there was this opportunity for our family to come together and be together in one place. But then we inherited some formal gardens, which were covered in plastic. They were sort of in disrepair. They had not been used for a couple of seasons, and we dove right in. We dug in. We dug in. By the way, this is not a podcast entirely full of plant puns, although there will be some plant puns in this one, like digging in and things like this.
We like puns.
They're funny.
Yeah, and you're full of dad humor.
I am. I am a dad, so that's probably why. When we were in California, we realized how much we wanted to pursue local growing.
That's 100% true. I think, and it wasn't something that we came to completely out of nowhere. We were both people that really love food and cooking and respected the work of chefs and organic food. But I don't think we really had a full concept of what that meant from the beginning of the cycle to the plate. Right. And so in California, we had an amazing farmer's market in our town, and we spent every Sunday at the farmer's market shopping, first as a couple and then as a couple with a baby. And we got to know the farmers and the growers and the vendors and talked about their stories. And, California has got pretty much an eternal growing season, and it supplies the country with so much of the things that all of us use, from vegetables to fruit, so that was a very unique, but plentiful experience of really, but I think our main inspiration in the very beginning, came from our lemon tree.
That's right. We had a lemon tree and a rosemary plant at our house in California. And I think it was, and it's the first time I had ever had, of course, herbs and like simple things that were growing, in around in pots or whatever, but to have something that had an abundance of whatever that thing was.
That lemon tree was incredible.
That lemon tree, we got so many lemons off that lemon tree.
Amazing.
But I think one of the things that was so surprising to us was that so many people were kind of in awe or amazed or impressed by the fact that it came out of our yard.
There were a lot of moments like that. You made this? That's from your lemon?
A lemon from your tree? And it was so interesting. It was a very clear memory of people being very interested by this sort of mysterious object called a lemon that came from a tree.
Because they're everywhere in California, but this whole idea that you actually could pick it, squeeze it and use it and cut the rosemary from the bush in your backyard. That was just,
it was almost like we would say, hey, can you go out and get some lemons? Oh, I'll go out and get some lemons. We'd say to friends,
right.
Oh, I'll go out and get some. Oh, I'd love to. How many do you need? Should I take two? I don't want to take too many. I'll take one. Should I take two? I'm like, one or two, three, whatever. Just get them.
Take some home.
That was always a thing too. Oh, I get to take lemons home.
Yeah.
But it was, for us, it was such a fun experience to share that.
Yes, and the amazing connection that you have when you're sharing a meal with people. You know, one of the greatest things that we love to do is have our friends and family over and share a meal. We love to cook for our friends. We love to cook for our family because those are the moments. Those are the moments of laughter, sometimes tears, great conversation. And that is what builds the bonds for us with, you know, our community and with ourselves. And yeah, it's so special to be able to say that this came, you know, from
right outside
from
your yard,
your back door. Yeah.
And I think for me, moving here to Connecticut and being here, our yard, I think, is so much bigger than anything that we've ever managed before. 11 acres is not a small amount of space.
Which is why I said no.
But then you said yes, and here you are, and you're so happy now. You are so happy.
I think it comes back to, I think it was the thing I didn't know that I really wanted. You know, it was intimidating. This is not a choice for all, I would say, the 11 acres of it all.
Everybody should be gardening in their yard.
Everybody should be gardening in your yard. And that comes from, I mean, it doesn't matter how that's happening.
You don't have to be clinically insane like us and have 11 acres.
Allow us to tell you the clinically insane stories so that you don't have to do it.
That's what this is for. That's what Yard to Table is for.
Yeah. No, I mean, yes, yard to table is for everybody, because if you have a back deck, if you have a patch of land, if you have a windowsill, if you have a countertop, there's so many ways that you can be growing things in your home that you can use. And it's such an incredible feeling.
And even things that you don't think, oh, I'll be able to use this. There's a lot of fun things that we're going to talk about.
So fun.
It's so much fun to find out, like making allium vinegar. You take your chives, and they have these beautiful purple flowers, and you cut those off, and those are your allium flowers, and you just take some white wine vinegar and stick them in there. And 2 weeks later, you've got this beautiful purple, floral, fragrant vinegar.
Spicy.
That you can use, and it's amazing. And you think, oh, that was surprisingly easy to do this. You know, plant chives are the easiest thing on earth to plant. They grow in pretty much any possible configuration.
They're incredible. And I just saw this thing that I'm excited to try, because we are bursting with herbs in the garden right now. Herb bombs, where you just take all of these fresh herbs that you chop up and you make ice cubes with olive oil and you put them in the freezer. They're there for the whole year. I mean, it's incredible the things that you can do and make.
Like a good idea.
I know, right? I'm going to be doing that after this. After I order my tulips, I'm going to make some herb bombs.
See, this is the thing. When you do yard to table gardening and cooking, there's always another thing that you get to do.
The list is long. And I think that's the thing that I didn't realize. You think, oh, I'm so intimidated. I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know how to operate. But once you get into it, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to, but you're going to make so many successes, and you're going to have so much fun. And it's so renewing to really be so connected to the land and to the things that are growing, and to understand where your food comes from and how healthy that is for you and for your family. And what we hope from this podcast is that in sharing the stories, and we have some incredible guests that are going to be coming onto the podcast that are from our local food, culinary, entertaining community here in Connecticut and New England. They're going to share really wonderful stories and backgrounds around Yard to Table and their view on this. We just want you to feel inspired and to enjoy it and to have some fun, because we have a lot of fun.
An enormous amount of fun.
And what we have found is it's been so inspiring. It's been incredible to meet the people that care so deeply about where their food comes from, and to see what they're doing, to learn from them, to supplement, because we all can't do everything in our yards. So, I don't want to grow mushrooms, but I'm really glad that our friend and neighbor does, and we support each other in this community. People say, hey, listen, I got a dozen eggs. I'm going to drop them off. Or I left a bunch of basil in a jar on your back door. It's incredible.
And I think that's for us what Yard to Table is all about. It's about connecting all of us in our own communities through food, through the produce that we grow, through the things that we grow in our own yards.
And it's also about the things that we're not growing, the things that are growing naturally. It's about understanding the natural world around us and really being inspired by that. You know, violets growing in the springtime in your yard that you can turn into violet syrup.
Which we've done, and it's amazing.
It's amazing. Our neighbor told us, "Oh, have you ever tried violet syrup?" I was like, "No, I have never tried violet syrup." She's like, "Oh, go out with your daughter and go pick some. And you're going to put them in hot water and you're going to let it sit overnight. And then you're going to add a little sugar and it's going to make a beautiful syrup that you can use in cocktails or you can make pink lemonade." And we did it. And it was incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I think the next year we were like waiting for the violets. Are they up yet? Are they up yet? Are they up yet? And you know, we said we're not going to mow that area at all.
That's right.
Because we got to keep the violets.
We got to protect the patch.
Protect it, and we did.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the fun things is that for us, yard isn't just the area that we have our main growing garden, our main kitchen garden, and our growing garden.
That's exactly right.
Yard for us is really the whole property.
Yeah.
You know, we have maple trees. We have a lot of sugar maple trees. We have a lot of Norway maple. We have a lot of sugar maple as well. So we tap our own maple trees and we get this amazing, beautiful, wonderful maple sap that comes out of them. And then I boil that down into this lovely, luscious maple syrup.
We're a big maple syrup loving family over here.
Yeah. Generations of maple loving family members.
That's true.
For sure.
Pop-Up has been known to drink directly from a bottle.
That is 100% true.
Of maple syrup.
Not untrue, 100% true.
A bottle of maple syrup. I just want to clarify that. But I think that's a really important point because it's like, it is about the fact that, yes, we're talking about intentional planting and growing, but it's also maximizing the things that are in your immediate area, foraging, utilizing plants, vegetables, and trees that grow naturally in ways that you never thought about. We certainly hadn't thought about it.
No, not at all. I mean, obviously we have to say, like we say sometimes to our daughter, don't eat it if you don't know what it is.
Very important.
But if you do know what it is.
That should be a rule for life.
I think generally that's a rule for life.
Yeah, I agree.
True on like an airplane or the street corner or your backyard.
Yes.
If you don't know what it is, really don't put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
That's probably a good choice.
Agreed.
But there's a lot to be said for when you do know what something is. Even acorns, which I know this is not a foraging podcast, by the way, but but
we do plan to have a forager come on.
That is true. We will have a foraging guest a little later on in the season. But I think that that's one thing that is very unique is that if you look at things from a different perspective, if you find a way to get some open space and look around, there's a lot that's there. There's a lot that you don't think about. Even the simple and very humble dandelion, which most people will 100% eradicate.
With vengeance.
With a deep vengeance and visceral hatred. You can take the flowers of a dandelion and you can make dandelion ice cream, which has a very honey floral flavor. You can make dandelion jam. Same. It has this very surprising floral nature.
And the greens are a classic for salad.
Classic staple
and
for
tea.
salad.
You can make a dandelion tea. And by the way, they're the first sign in spring for a lot of our pollinators.
That's right.
For them to be able to feed themselves and to start the process that we all need to happen for all of our gardens to grow.
And as we watch our pollinators scooch around, a lot of bees that we have around our tomato plants and our zucchini flowers and all of the things that we have that grow, you start seeing, because it is your yard, because you're there every day, you start seeing the interconnected nature of how all of these different parts come together from the right kind of soil, which we'll talk about, the right kind of chemical balance that you have in your soil.
And how to manage that all organically without chemicals, pesticides. It's a lot of bug picking and crushing, which is not my favorite, by the way. You can get help for that.
But you do it.
I do.
You do crush them as you need to.
As I need to.
You keep the good ones and you crush the bad ones.
That's right. And recognizing what that is. What's
Yeah.
the good, who are the good guys and who are the bad guys?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some of the ones that I thought were the bad guys were the good guys.
That was very early on, though.
Yeah.
We're good now.
Yeah.
But understanding that all of these different parts coming together is what creates this ecosystem of the things that we eat.
Yeah.
You know, you have all of these different elements that transfer from the soil to the plant, to the fruit, back to us again, back to the soil. It's this very unique and interesting thing that because it's in your yard, it's coming from your yard to your table. You get to really experience that and see that in a way that a lot of other people don't get to have that opportunity.
Well, I think it's because we have been so taken far away from the chain of where the food is coming from to where it comes to us in grocery stores, right? And that is not something that even maybe our parents or parents' had. People grew gardens.
Yeah.
That was a very important thing. And there's lots of people who continue to do it, but there's a lot of us that have gotten away from it. And when you don't really understand that cycle of food and growing and the impact on the environment, it really, once you do understand it, really changes your perception of food. And, we have some very old apple trees in our property that we were very lucky to inherit. But I remember the first season that we were here, and no one even knows the varietal of it because it's so old. We think it's probably from 1930 or earlier. We're unsure, but
It's a French green apple, but does not taste like a Granny Smith.
no. And it is ugly.
Yeah, the fruit is not pretty.
No,
It is not pretty.
it's not pretty, but that's what organic fruit looks like.
But it's delicious.
It's delicious.
My mother makes a mean apple pie with that.
And applesauce and
apple jelly and apple, butter, and that's delicious.
yeah. But you look at it and you go, I'm not going to eat that.
But we do.
But you do. And that's again what we see in our stores are things that have been engineered and created, and
Because I tried to grow a plastic bag tree and it did not take.
it's weird.
It just didn't work. Because most fruit comes in a plastic bag. So that's kind of,
You thought that was the
natural
origin story
of it,
Understood.
that it comes in
Yeah.
a plastic bag. So
Yeah.
obviously you start with the plastic bag tree, but that
Yeah.
does not work. So that's what the podcast is going to be. So every single week, we're going to come out with another little bit of information. We'll have guests on every other week. We'll have stories, we'll have recipes, we'll have information for you about all of our local Connecticut growers. I think a lot of the things that you can take away from what we're going to give you is it's not just Connecticut based.
That's right.
You can use these principles pretty much anywhere. Possibly not Antarctica. I'm not sure what the growing season is there, but I think that pretty much everywhere else,
Yeah, it'll work.
I think it's going to work.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's the important part. There's nothing, it's all stuff that you can take and use however you want, or you can just listen and have fun.
Yeah, because we're fun people.
We are fun people. Well, we think we're fun people.
We know we're fun people. We actually are fun people. People have told us that we're fun people.
So come take a seat at the table with us. And if you want to see what's going on every day at Stonebrook, then you can follow us on Instagram at Stonebrook House.
I like that.
Me too. I'm excited.
This is going to be great. Yard to Table is a production of Macrocosm Entertainment. Don't forget to rate us and subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts. And for tips and more information, follow us on Instagram at Stonebrook House.